Chapter 53. Laura awoke in the back seat of a patrol car, leaning against the door. Her head throbbed and ached. Behind her back, she felt her wrists cuffed. The smell of stale sweat and cigarettes lingered along the smooth vinyl seat. This was not a dream. This was a nightmare. She cried softly, feeling pathetic. Her plan to save everyone was falling apart. Now she wondered if she could even save herself. Malik had never displayed kindness to her. Shortly after she was hired, he asked her on a date. Laura felt this was awkward and inappropriate because he was a superior and in a position of power. But besides that, she had kind of given up on dating anyways. For the previous several years, she had only found men who were jerks. She got stood up on dates with men she really liked, and the men who did meet with her were too pushy for sex. They lied to her about dating other women, and sometimes they were closet alcoholics. Tom was the latter, the one who taught her how to hold and use a gun. Alcohol was like a second girlfriend with him, one he spent a great deal of time with, and he didn't want to give up on this liquid bond. One guy, Barry, had a successful business as a restaurant owner and wooed her with the most lavish dinners, not only from his restaurant but others in the Los Angeles area. He had brought amazing sushi to picnics on Malibu beaches, telling her how much he loved her. She surprised him at his restaurant one night with tickets to the Hollywood Bowl and found him in the back area all over a waitress fresh out of high school. So she focused on important things in her life, things she could control. Her research in the psychology of dealing with terminal illnesses could help many people, and it was easy for her to become engrossed with. She wanted good to come out of her endeavors rather than unfaithful men. But this focus wavered when she joined Project X and found Jeff. He was different. So after she kindly refused Malik's request on a date, he was bitterly cold to her. Not that he was warm before, but afterwards he made no effort to hide it. She continued working under him because she vehemently believed in helping to cure cancer and the project's potential for success. However, this commitment vanished after a medical doctor on the team confronted Malik regarding the project's direction and the potential involuntary research subjects. This doctor, Meredith, was killed in front of Laura. Having observed Malik's volatile mental state, Laura feigned continuing commitment to the project to protect herself and to work on freeing the subjects. She knew if she got caught betraying Malik, he wouldn't be satisfied with simply her death. Malik was an unforgiving man. She got the sense that just from betraying him, he would want extreme retribution. He wouldn't kill her right away. She imagined the very people she tried to save, she would be forced to watch being tortured and put to death. Then he would put her back into the dream and influence it to present one nightmare after another, without escape, a hell of a dream for months. Maybe this was already happening. No, it can't be. But her heart rate accelerated. She could not think that she was imprisoned here, would not think that, must not. All hope would be lost then. Yet her thoughts returned to that possibility, while trapped in a nightmare, while her mind suffered, her body would be vulnerable back at the research facility. Malik could do stuff to her. Then, when he lost interest, she wouldn't even feel him injecting a deadly drug overdose. He would rationalize the murders to the other staff present, if any. He would claim it as a necessity due to the secrecy of their work. If the project was ever exposed, the public would be outraged. Anyone connected with it and with a knowledge of its immoral procedures would be held accountable. The staff would acquiesce to Malik. Laura pulled on her handcuffs, willing them to transform into paper. But this was as futile as it would have been in reality. The patrol car stopped at Whittier Police Department, where she was searched, relieved of all her personal possessions, photographed, and electronically fingerprinted. Since her blouse was without buttons, she had no shoes. She was given an orange prison jumpsuit, white socks, and black shoes to change into. Afterwards, she was placed into a holding cell with 2 other inmates. These women also wore orange jumpsuits. Laura felt nothing, like a dream invention herself, unreal. She lost the ability to care about the simulated people and places of this world. One of the inmates was shaking as though high on drugs, oily bleach blonde hair waving. She stayed to herself in the corner. The other inmate was a huge black woman with a ghastly pale scar on the left side of her face, appearing capable of crushing skulls with her bare hands. This woman stared at Laura. Laura walked up to the black woman and spat at her.